Start. Alright, we're on.
My name's Corey McClammy. I am one of the 3D modelers,
This is the last sword in
characters, and
existence.
environment artists for Smashmuck Champions, and I do some of the voiceover work as well.
Well, immediately I want to ask what characters you've got voice in this.
I've done Blitz. I've done all the Muck Critters. I do Coach Stash, who is the good guy's kind of training person for you. And like I said, I've modeled, I would say maybe 7 or 8 of the characters, and helped out with some of the environments as well.
Alright, so why don't you give me a brief description of Smashmuck Champions, now that we've got.
Absolutely. It's basically, it is a MOBA game, Massive Online Battle Arena game, but it is a little bit different than your average MOBA. It's got 5 different game modes in it and 8 different maps, so you should always have some eye candy to look at, and nothing should be the same. The different game modes that we do have your typical CTF, which we call your Plunder Ball, and we also have a conquest mode, which is basically trying to take over 5 points spread out through a map, and as long as you stay on each point, it'll eventually turn to your respective color. 3 minions will pop up and help you defend that control point, and you can either stay and defend it, or you can move on to the next one. Another game mode that we have is Gauntlet, which is the quintessential horde type mode, where it's a co-op. You and 2 of your compadres get together, and you got a generator in the center that you're trying to protect from wave after wave after wave of baddie robots that are coming in. And then my personal favorite is Destroyer, and that's essentially a 5 versus 5. Each team has a giant mech robot monster that starts out on the same side as you where you spawn at, and he slowly but surely makes his way towards the center of the map, where they'll proceed to duke it out with the other destroyer monster. Now while that's happening, you'll have crystals that will periodically and spontaneously appear throughout the map. You have to get those crystals to power up your destroyer monster to keep him going, because by the time he gets to the center of the map and he's going one-on-one with the other big baddie, you want him to have his juice so that he can last a little longer than the other ones. Kill 3 destroyers, game's over. And then obviously we do have your siege as well, which has been done very well by other companies, but we had to throw that in there too.
So as a studio, how big are you guys?
Oh, we're a tiny studio. We are very independent, and like I said, I'm one of the artists there, but being that we are so small, you know, I do some of the voiceover stuff, so not to cut corners, but you know, we have to do what we have to do to make sure that we get this product done. But the studio is located in Charleston, South Carolina, probably the furthest away from any kind of video game industry you can possibly imagine, and we totally embrace that. You know, we're a small company that adheres to the community, and we really, really do listen, and I think it's easier for a smaller company to do that. But yeah, we've been around since, well, I've been here at the company since 2004, or I'm sorry, since 2008, and we've been working on this game. The 30 of us have been working on this game for probably less than 2 years now, so, yep.
Would this be your first game?
This will be our first PC-based game. We do have a couple of iOS and Android games that we put out as well.
So, what was, as everybody, pretty much, what was your main inspiration for doing, like, the original inspiration for this entire project?
To be honest, you know, when I first came to the studio, I really didn't know too much about MOBAs, and I think back in 2008, they hadn't really taken off that well. And so when we decided that we were going to start making one, I kind of have always been a fighting game fan. Like, Street Fighter is definitely my cup of tea, and just some of the zany characters that Capcom has come out with before, you can kind of see that in the art style that we have, and that's how we try to portray our game. It's really a reflection of the studio. You know, we cut up all the time. Everybody's very laid back and relaxed, a bunch of goofy characters, and I think that kind of reflects in the game itself. And you should be able to see that with the art style. As you hit somebody or you disrupt them, you'll see it flash up, disrupt, or slow, and it kind of reminds me of the old 1960s Batman shows where Adam West socks somebody, you see wham, you know, and like I said, it reflects in the characters, it should reflect in the environment, but you see like that cartoonish type feel, but we don't really want to call it a kids. It's just more of a kind of laid-back atmosphere, I guess you could say.
So y'all, what is your roster of characters? How many do you have?
Right now we are set at 22, and we should be debuting the 23rd one next month. And we're going to try to get at least one character out per month. The good thing about our characters and what I, as an artist, take pride in is
all right, everybody, step on up.
It's the skins that we offer
Champions.
for our characters. We don't
MOBA.
just change like the hue or
5-game
the texture or the color. We will generally change the entire model. It's a separate model. But you'll still know that it is your character that you've grown to love. For example, one of my favorite characters is Minos. And if you look at him, his initial costume or skin is like a rock texture. He looks like a pretty badass Minotaur type guy. He's got hooves, he's got big forearms, and he's very imposing, and it looks pretty mean. But then you go and you know, get his skin, you purchase it, or you play the game and acquire the new skin that he has, and it's called a cowbell, and it's probably my favorite. And it's just him decked out like a dairy cow. He's got the black and white patches, comes equipped with some bling in the form of a big gold cowbell. And my favorite part is he's got his udders, which he doesn't have on any of the other costumes. And instead of rock skin, you'll see actual tufts of fur. And so, like I said, it's a completely different model, but you still know that that's the character that you like.
Yeah, I'm personally a fan of there's a little single-wheeled guy.
Zert.
Yeah, Zert. And you remember that.
Yes.
I played him a little bit, and I liked his speed.
He is very, very, if you're going to play
Capture the Flag,
aka our Plunder Ball, he's a very, very good guy to have if you like speed. But I will make the suggestion, my favorite character is Rook, and he is by far, in my eyes, the fastest. He's got a vanishing move that allows him to teleport from one place to another, and when he reappears, the smoke will actually disrupt the enemy for you. And he's able to get out of hairy situations with the quickness, and he can throw up a crystal wall that prevents other enemies from following you as well. And being that our levels being that our maps have different levels on them, and we do have a jump, I'll just go ahead and throw that out there. I know that's kind of mind-blowing for some people, but being that our maps have different levels on there, Rook comes in really, really handy when he can disappear and reappear on top if that person can't happen to jump up there. So it's very, very good to have. If you're looking for speed, Rook is the way to go. Although Zert is a good second follow-up.
I like his little backstory.
Yes, and his push move is the most annoying thing if you're the one that's getting pushed around. Yeah. You can't get too close to the edges because you will fall off and die, and his push is more than powerful enough to knock you a few meters back and send you flying for sure. So,
you have all these characters with a backstory. Is there like a story for like the actual game itself?
Absolutely. There is an in-depth story for it. We're currently working on the full scheme of it, and it can get kind of hard to bring all these different characters in, but they all come from Planet Muck, and there's different regions from where these characters come from, whether it's Boku Island, which is one of the 5v5 map that we have, and then you have Plunder Isle, which is more of what Scuttlemuck, our character with the big cannon for an arm. That's where he would come from, but they have all the stories are laid out in detail for each character, and it's a pretty in-depth story for sure.
So, you guys are doing this as a free-to-play game, correct?
Absolutely.
There's one thing that's commonly talked about on the internet a lot when it comes to free-to-play games, is that the avoidance of being a pay-to-win, as they always call it.
Yes.
So, what do you think you guys are doing to actually avoid that? How is your whole entire thing working? I remember being told it was microtransactions, but how exactly are you going about it?
Well, essentially, the game is completely free to play, and I emphasize that to anybody I talk to. The game is free to play. Everything in the game is acquirable without spending any money. The honest truth is it would take you about 1,000 decades to garnish everything. And we do have microtransactions if you want to. During or at the end of each game, you can go to the shop and actually purchase your skins, purchase your weapons, and you can purchase it via clobber coins that you gain at the end of each match. Or, like I say, you can throw down a couple of bucks if you really want to get that skin that you want right then and there and not have to wait for it.
So pretty much most of the things you can buy are, for the most part, aesthetic.
A lot of the things are aesthetic, but there are different badges that will give you different buffs. There are different training routines that you can purchase as well that you can help add to your character to give you that little extra edge. But again, those same badges and those same training routines are readily available through just playing the game and as you go along as well.
So I know a lot of, I know you're not Korean.
No.
But a lot of Korean...
How can you tell, Kyle? Come on now.
A lot of Korean studios,
yes.
And well, not just Korea, but a lot of studios for free-to-play games tend to have the model of you can buy items for temporary periods of time. Are you even considering it?
No. If you buy an item, that's yours to keep for however long you wish to.
So only permanence?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes, absolutely. And I will also throw in too, if you purchase a legendary account, you get everything free up to then, and whatever comes out from that point on. So it's you pay, I think it's $100 value, and then every time that we come out with a new skin, a new character, a new badge, a new emote, it'll already be waiting for you when the next time you boot up Smashmuck.
Alright. So, in the art direction, what was your
Got two in the back.
Alright, so you're a 3D artist.
Yes, sir.
What has it been like working with everything, with the concept artists and everything? Just a little bit off of the game itself and more onto the development.
Glad you asked that, Kyle. Our company is very community based, and last PAX we actually did a panel where our lead character artist and a couple other people that work with the game, our community manager, our game designer, our lead programmer, sat at the front of about 150 different people and were bombarded in a good way by suggestions on to what the next champion should look like, how they should play, what kind of abilities they have. And the champion essentially was created by the community. And where I'm going at with this is that our poor lead character artist had literally about 100 different ideas thrown at him, and then obviously we can't use all of them, so we pressed them down, and the next thing you know, I'm getting an instant message saying, alright, we got a character that is part shark, substitute teacher, who's a paraplegic, whose wheelchair is really a tank hover round and can shoot lasers, also transforms into a mechanical piranha at will during the game. And so I get this doc and I'm like, well, okay, this is definitely a lot to work with here for one character, but it's such a great idea, and being that it was made by the people, it had to get done. It needed to get done. And so it was a lot of information coming in, but you're able to just kind of, make that character the most efficient way possible, because you do have parameters that you have to work with as far as making, so that the model doesn't bog down the system in a way. And, we have our different, try counts that we have to look out for and stuff like that. But, when I see the concept art that I get from Alan White, and I have to transfer that into a 3D model, I always accept the challenge, and it's, thankfully, I still have a job, so no one's been upset with the models that have been produced on my part, for sure.
So, on a more personal note, how did you get into your field? What was lead up?
Obviously, everyone here, I like to believe, is a gamer at heart, and I remember some of my family members when I was younger telling me, you're gonna waste your time with these games and you're never gonna be able to really do anything. And so I went to school, Savannah College of Art and Design, for it. I got my bachelor's degree and, toiled around, did some freelance stuff. And then another friend that I went to school with called me up one day and was like, hey, we're starting this company, we could really use some artists. And lo and behold, I took myself from Savannah, Georgia, and moved on up to Charleston, South Carolina, where I proceeded to start working for Kiz Studios. So, yeah, you definitely put in the work via the school, and if there's somebody out there that is looking for what you are able to produce, then you'll definitely be able to bring it to the industry, so to speak.
All right. Just out of curiosity, since for like the technical folks that are going to be watching this, if any, what program do you use? What are your tools?
My programs that I love to use as a modeler, first and foremost is Autodesk Maya. I feel as though as far as a user base goes and UI, it's the most easiest to get around. It's the easiest 3D program to use. And being that we use what we call normal maps, I also dabble in ZBrush as well. So whenever we need to get, you know, some sweet normal maps or displacement maps or any kind of cavity maps or anything like that, it's always good to go back and bring those low poly models into ZBrush, spruce them up, get a lot of good detail, and then project that onto the low base model so that kind of pulling the eyes of the consumer by what looks like a lot of detail, but on a very, very low scale as far as try count goes for each model. And of course Photoshop. I have to throw Photoshop in.
Oh yes.
You gotta know your Photoshop.
Photoshop is always there.
Yes.
Somewhere. Some way, shape,
it absolutely has to be in the process.
So, you've already gone through your favorite characters. I was just thinking I was going to ask that again, but that would be a little bit redundant. So, how have you been enjoying PAX East? Let's go with that.
Okay, well, to be honest with you, this is the first convention I've ever been to.
First event.
And I'm absolutely blown away. The people here have been absolutely amazing. All of the consumers coming up and just them seeing what we've done over the past, you know, couple of years and hearing their reactions, whether it's been good or bad, it's just been an amazing experience. And like I said, to actually see the people play your game that's where it's at, man. That's where it's at.
You've been a bit spoiled. Your first convention is as an exhibitor.
I know. I am definitely thankful to Mr. Ashley Johnson. Wink, wink. You can hook somebody up with some extra pay during the year. And Mr. Rahad as well. I got to give him a high five. Thank you.